Oh hey, you'll have to excuse me, I'm just casually enjoying one of my favorite Japanese master sets of all time, Dream League. Now, the beauty of Dream League is known far and wide, and for the longest time, it was the go-to set for new Japanese Pokemon card collectors. And you guys have been nice to see my binder for ages, even though I post pictures of cards from it every single day over at Instagram. Well, at long last, here it is. Now, I keep my set safe and sound inside an Ultimate Guard Xeno Skin Zip Folio 19 pocket binder, for those of you guys who are wondering. But enough of that, let's celebrate this heavenly set, and who knows, you might learn a thing or two along the way. Now, with Dream League, it's really easy to get distracted by all the GX cards and the CHRs, and that's through no fault of their own. They are all really amazing cards, but I've always thought of the commons and the uncommons as the cards that bind a set together, and that's where Dream League really excels. Don't believe me? Let me just show you. First up is Pikachu, illustrated by Naoki Kimura, who is the artist behind a lot of the illustrations from the Southern Island collection.
I think that's why I dig this Pikachu so much. Naoki Kimura has a technique that's remained consistent for so many years, making it an absolutely timeless style. He's been around for a while now, dating back to Neo Discovery, so you might recognize their work from the Neo Premium File 2 illustrations.
Now, if you know me, then you know I think this Raichu should have been a rare. Nevertheless, it's still a fantastic illustration by Akira Egawa.
I don't know what it is about their style, but they just know how to bring a Pokemon to life perfectly, whether it's a VMAX or an uncommon, and Raichu is no exception here. Egawa has amazing range, so if you haven't yet followed them over at Twitter or Instagram, you've been missing out.
I've always loved the concept of Wishy-Washy. Weak on their own, but strong in numbers. That's why they're one of my favorite Pokemon.
So this Wishy-Washy illustrated by Kawayoo is big for me. Kawayoo is far and away one of my favorite artists. Their style is so detailed that every one of their cards has the same feeling of a special art, so I love it when their cards are in a set.
Now, artists from all different industries work together to create cards for the Pokemon trading card game, such as SK Yoshinobu, who's also a programmer that's worked on the Final Fantasy series and the Kingdom Hearts series, which is why I love this Magneton.
Every time I look at it, my brain goes straight to the Nintendo 64 and Pokemon Stadium. You really get a sense of that early 64 era Pokemon in 3D vibe with this card.
Where would we be without So-So? When it's all said and done, they're an absolute lock for the Trading Card Game Hall of Fame.
So it'd be a crime if I didn't mention their fantastic depiction of Curlia. So-So blesses us not only with beautiful Pokemon illustrations, but ultra detailed backdrops behind them too.
Now, at first pass, this card doesn't exactly jump out at you, but when you look at it a bit closer, it's actually genius.
The subtle shadow above and below makes it look as if Mimikyu is peeking with their disguise at the top, as well as with their true form below. Hyogonosuke is known for their very distinct style, so don't be surprised if this card feels familiar.
Next up is Stoutland, illustrated by Masakazu Fukuda, the man behind the Gold Star cards.
That's why I had to mention their Stoutland. It's got such a distinctive and realistic style that makes it the go-to card whenever I think of this big shaggy dog. And those hollow borders are just the cherry on top.
Now, it's not often that trainer cards stand out in a set, but these two are the exception. Their impact is subtle but significant.
N and Lillie have some of the coolest trainer cards from the Sun and Moon era, and these ones aren't even hollows, which just goes to show how good of a job each artist has done here. Ryutafuse gives us one of the coolest depictions of N, and Kodama illustrates a serene Lillie with a peaceful backdrop.
Now, here's where things get really cool. If you're familiar with the latter half of the Sun and Moon era, you'll know that there's some awesome Tag Team GX cards, most of which were illustrated by Mitsuhiro Arita, but for Dream League, they mixed things up a little bit, and we got some new additions to the front with cards from Naoki Saito, Kagemaru Himeno, Hideki Ishikawa, and Megumi Mizutani.
Speaking of Megumi Mizutani, they've been around for a while, having drawn many of the trainer full arts from the XY era, so it's really fitting to see them illustrate this awesome Silverly with Gladion supporting them from afar. They're also the designer that created Pansage, which just happened to be the first card they illustrated too.
And you know what else Mizutani Sensei illustrated? the copycat full art from Champion Road. Give it to me, Joe. I'm serious, I'm not playing anymore.
Now, Erika fans were absolutely spoiled during the Sun and Moon era as she makes another appearance in this beautiful Vileplume GX. I absolutely love the floating spores that Kagemaru Himeno has added here because it just perfectly captures the feeling of a grass type Pokemon in battle.
Now the two absolute standouts here are Solgaleo and Lunala GX and Reshiram and Zekrom GX, and that's because the illustrations are so good, you'd think they're special arts.
Illustrated by Hideki Ishikawa, who more recently drew the Lance's Charizard V, this Solgaleo and Lunala GX looks like a still from an anime. With Lillie bravely riding on the back of Solgaleo, you really get a sense of urgency and movement when you hold it.
And if you're a Mega Man fan, you might know that Hideki Ishikawa did a lot of work with Capcom, including character design for the original Mega Man Legends.
Now, did somebody say Naoki Saito? As is par for the course, Naoki Saito absolutely delivers on this powerful Reshiram and Zekrom GX that has N perched neatly on the shoulder of Zekrom. It's an explosive card that captures the ferocity of these legendary Pokemon alongside the finesse and calm of N.
Dream League has a heavy emphasis on trainers, which is why feature the GX cards you can see N, Lillie, Erika and Gladion backing up their Pokemon in each card. It's an extra little touch that ties them to the game and the anime. Now ordinarily, cards of that caliber would be enough to propel a set into top 10 status, but what if top 10 status wasn't enough? Well, for Creatures Inc. it wasn't. They wanted more than top 10. They needed it. So character rare cards were born.
The launch of Dream League brought with it a new type of rarity known as character rares. Bonus rare cards outside the main set that featured full card illustrations of basic Pokemon. These all have the letters CHR in the bottom left corner, and they're making a return in this year's high-class pack, VMAX Climax.
Yep, these are the cards that Dream League is best known for, each illustrated by a different artist, and each highlighting the Pokemon and trainer connection. Now, a box of Dream League will typically have 3 of these cards inside of it, which is what makes it so fun to open after all these years.
First up is Torkoal, featuring the fiery gym leader Flannery, who both look like they're having a pretty good time. You've got steam filling the card and autumn leaves floating about. It's illustrated by Ryota Murayama, who has a real talent for drawing Pokemon in action. Then there's the ominous Weevil, paired up with Team Galactic boss Cyrus, and I really love this card because you can totally see the reflection of Cyrus in Weevil, and vice versa. It's a really brooding feeling, captured by Nagimiso, who recently drew the Jolteon V special art. And who could forget Pikachu with red? Arguably the most known character rare from this set. Every time I look at it, I cannot help but think about Pokemon Yellow. You can totally feel the bond between these two, thanks to the amazing work of Hitoshi Ariga, who has a pretty amazing track record when it comes to illustrating Pikachu. Once more, the distinct style of Hyogonosuke is on full display with this stunning coughing that features Roxy jamming in the background. Now, most people think of Pikachu when they think of character rares, but my mind always goes straight to this cel-shaded purple masterpiece. Fan favorite Acerola makes an appearance in this set too, with the lovely Mimikyu card. And you can really feel the love between these two, as Mimikyu is gently stitched up by their trainer. It's a nice moment of reprieve, illustrated by Yo Iribi, the artist behind the Leafeon V special art. The softer side of Sharon comes out in this ultra vibrant Stoutland card, who looks like they just got a nice wash along the beach. Sharon has a really dreamy expression, which pairs nicely with the palm trees and the bright sun. It's an amazing illustration by Mizue, who's been drawing cards for over a decade now. And it just wouldn't be a set without Mitsuhiro Arita, who illustrates the Excadrill, which, if you hadn't noticed, looks like they've just resurfaced from underground. Paired up with their partner Clay, they both look like they're ready to drop 2021's hottest mixtape.
Now, what's super interesting about many of the artists behind these cards is that a lot of them are actually employees of Game Freak, and for the most part, these are the only cards they've illustrated for the trading card game. Special thanks to Primal Lugia and Taco over on Twitter for sharing this one.
There's the extremely popular Piplup, who features Dawn, illustrated by Tomomi Kaneko, a Pokemon and character designer from Game Freak. I really love the contrast on this one between Piplup's fierce expression and Dawn's carefree nature. One of my favorites from this set is the Wishy-Washy drawn alongside Lana. It really feels like you're deep in the ocean, and I love how you've got the solo form and the school form on the same card. It's captured with ease by Misaki Hashimoto from the Game Freak character design team. And have you ever seen a Magnemite as cute as this? You just know that Lieutenant Surge looks after his Pokemon, giving this dirty Magnemite a polish in the workshop, and I just love how happy they all look. Fumie Kitaka illustrates this card, and you guessed it, they're also a Pokemon and character designer at Game Freak. Wally and Gallade share an absolutely beautiful card that is the perfect example of that trainer and Pokemon connection. Chilling out on a hill, it's a really relaxing card that's illustrated by Hwang Zu-en, a multi-talented character designer with Game Freak. And finally, there's the amazingly menacing Steelix with Jasmine leading in front. The sparkle and the shine on this one really makes the card pop. It's drawn by Avec Yoko, an artist who we still know very little about, though some have suggested that this is actually an alias and that perhaps multiple artists worked on this card together.
And while this one isn't in the main set, technically it still kind of counts. This one's Clefairy, illustrated by Sanosuke Sakuma. You got one of these when you bought 30 packs of Dream League on release.
Sanosuke Sakuma illustrates this gorgeous Clefairy card, which was an absolute sleeper hit for nearly 2 years. Being a promo, it's now pretty tough to find, but it's easily one of the best Clefairy cards out there, looking like a scene straight from the Pokemon anime.
Stitchy, how did they make such a fantastic set? How did they do it? How did they do it, Stitch? Now, it's rare to see a set feature full art supporters that are all absolute bangers, but Dream League delivers yet again, and this one's actually got 2 that are still relatively easy to get a hold of.
First, there's N's Resolve, which has an absolutely stunning texture and lighting effect that merges with the card border. It feels intense, but the soothing eyes of N wash those feelings away, making it one of my favorites. This one is illustrated by Mana Ibe, who is the 3D map graphics lead over at Game Freak. Then we've got Lily's Full Force, and do you see what I mean about awesome trainer cards? This one is absolutely exploding with glitz and sparkles, and it's got a fantastic texture too. It's illustrated by Noriko Uono, who coincidentally happens to be one of the 3D map graphic team members at Game Freak. kirisAki fans, I know you've been waiting for me to show this card. That's right, kirisAki lends her big love to this set with Rosa, so it's no surprise that this is far and away the chase card for Dream League. It's a fantastic illustration with an awesome blend of color and vibrance paired with the flashy pose of Rosa. Needless to say, I was super excited when I found this card last year.
And to top it off, it's the first ever full art trainer supporter by one of my favorite artists. kirisAki sensei, hontou ni arigatou gozaimasu. Dream League's a stunner, isn't it? But it doesn't end there. In case it already wasn't stacked enough, they really went and did it, didn't they? They did it. Yeah, that's right. Dream League also features 4 special arts. The absolute mad lads. They really did it.
Megumi Mizutani contrasts her first illustration of Silverly with this calm and playful rendition for the special art. I've always thought this was such an underappreciated illustration. Just has a really nice and serene feeling under the trees, with the sun shining down from above, and the colorway of Gladion and Silverly just goes so well with the forest too. Kagemaru Himeno captures a really peaceful vibe with a special art for Vileplume GX, which has Erica quietly resting with Vileplume at the base of a tree. The texturing on the grass for this card is amazing, and you can definitely feel how the connection between both trainer and Pokemon extends beyond battle.
So did you notice anything there? No stress, because I actually missed it the first time around too, but check it out. All the artists that draw the double rare GX cards in this set also draw the corresponding special art GX card.
So Lily makes yet another appearance. She really does get all the love in this set, as she's featured front and center in the Solgaleo and Lunala GX special art. This alternate rendition by Hideki Ishikawa captures a sense of maturity and bravery from Lily, with the 2 legendary Pokemon standing alongside her under the moonlit sky. And finally, my favorite card from Dream League is the stunning Reshiram and Zekrom GX special art, illustrated by Naoki Saito. The contrast of colors, the back-to-back stance of Reshiram and Zekrom, the beautiful checkerboard texture work, and that stylish JoJo pose from N, it's far and away one of my all-time favorite special art cards, which I've been lucky enough to find twice.
Will another Japanese release come close to the perfection of Dream League? Maybe. Many of the illustrations from this year's expansions continue to blow me away, but even if we don't, we'll always have this beauty. If you aren't already in love with Dream League, I hope you are now. Make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below telling me which Master Set you want to see next, because I'll be giving away some cards from Dream League to one of you lucky people down below. Till then, follow me at Twitch, and I'll see you next time.